Tonight's show is brought to you by Tavin's Pub.
Located at 102 Northeast Russell Street. Hi y'all, welcome back to Portland SportsBeat. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Michelle Cruz.
And I am?
Brad Stein.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, how's your week been? It's been a couple weeks.
It has been a couple weeks. I want to start this show off right and just tell you how I'm extremely sorry. I don't remember, was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry for throwing you under the bus, because that's what you referred to, right? You drew a picture of a bus and you were laying under it. You said, I threw you under it. I deeply, from the bottom of my heart, from the left atrium to the right atrium, I apologize.
Really?
It's very sincere.
Okay, well, I'll try not to kill you this episode.
Well, I appreciate it. I just want to
We'll
let
see
you
what
know
happens.
that I am honored to be in your presence right now, to sit across from you at this desk. It enlightens my heart.
Sounds super desperate.
Yes. Makes me want to hit a home. It makes me want to hit a home run off an all-star pitcher
It's
from
only
Oregon
because
State.
no one else wants to sit across from you and can tolerate you and your Bradness.
Oh, but you tolerate it, though,
I do.
so well.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how, actually.
I know. Because dealing with you is an absolute pleasure. I just want you to know that.
I'm a gem.
You are more than a gem. You're underrating yourself right now. You are more than a gem. That's
You
exactly what
insulting
you
me.
is.
You're
Don't
insulting
forget,
me.
this show you can watch right now live on Comcast Channel 22. Older episodes on PortlandSportsBeat.com. And you can follow us on Twitter at PDX SportsBeat.
Yes, you can. And
Right.
I challenge all of you viewers to look through the past episodes and see any episode where Brad is actually very nice to me. It's not going to happen.
It always happens. You're
Anyways,
a lovely person.
Just
yes.
tell people what's on the show.
All right, we have an absolute captivating show coming up. We have Oregon State pitcher and Clackamas High alum Ben Wetzler. He's going to join the program. He's going to talk College World Series. And he just was selected in the 5th round of the Major League Baseball draft by the Philadelphia Phillies.
I know, that's super exciting.
It really is. It really is.
I'm glad to have him here today.
And you should tell him that. And then later we have Devaunte Hoffman from Gresham High School, Zach Floyd from Tigard High School, and Kendrick Bourne from Milwaukie, who all participated in the Les Schwab Bowl.
And
So they're going to be here and they're going to talk about their future plans in
Okay.
football and life.
Who's coming first?
Mr. Wetzler, of
Okay.
course. So should we throw it over to PJ?
Okay.
But they never gave us anything to throw, so I was hoping a baseball bat, so accidentally it would just skim your head, of course. I would never intentionally try to hit you. Just
Okay,
like
this
some
episode
pitchers
just made it
intentionally
to
try to hit
Brad
batters.
is being mean to Michelle.
No.
As always. It's okay.
No, you had the apology. It is sincere
I
as it
have
could
this
be.
innate ability to just ignore you.
Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball over to Wetzler and PJ. Here we go. Curve!
All right, thank you, Brad, Michelle. PJ Miller here with Taylor Foster, and of course, Ben Wetzler, pitcher, Oregon State, coming off of a great tournament run for the College World Series. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and kind of let the people who may have not been following Oregon State kind of let them know a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Ben Wetzler. I'm a junior left-handed pitcher, and now I've got a tough decision to make, see what we're going to do in the future, whether to go back, see if we can get a title, or head off to Philadelphia.
So, you talk about the decision you have to make. You were just drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies in the 5th round. That wasn't the first time you were drafted. You were actually drafted coming straight out of a high school. Talk a little bit about what that means. You went to Clackamas High School, local here in the Portland metro area. Talk about, what it means to be drafted right out of high school.
It was a pretty special honor. I had kind of a feeling that it was going to happen, but when you hear your name called or see it come across the screen online, it was a pretty special moment. But I knew from the get-go that I was going to go to Corvallis, and I've always wanted to go to college and be a Beaver and try to bring another national title back. So that's what I wanted to do.
So, talk about Clackamas. You played for Coach Arnson, who was actually on the show, the last show that we had. So we had all the Clackamas kids on here and Coach. So, it was a great tie-in for having you on. Talk about your time at Clackamas and what it meant to play at a school like Clackamas.
It's definitely a tight-knit community. It's a family there, and it stayed a family. I know Coach Bowman, my pitching coach, and Coach Arnston, they're kind of like second father figures to me, and they've come to almost every home start I've made in Corvallis, and they bring the team out, and I've been able to talk to all their guys, and I've grown up with their families, and it's just a really cool feeling to be so close to my high school coaches.
But going off of that, so let's start at the beginning of your baseball career. So you didn't have like a normal, your parents weren't the super into like Little League or anything like that. You were a farmer.
Yep.
You were a farm kid. So how did your interest in baseball start?
I think it was 5 or 6 years old. We lived down in Monmouth, probably 10, 15 minutes out of town. And we had a neighbor boy, and me and my brother, who's a year younger than me, always hung out with him. He was 3 or 4 years older than us, and he'd come down the street to play. And one day he brought a bunch of baseball gear, and we started throwing to each other and playing catch every day, played football, basketball, and that was kind of when I fell in love with sports. Not by my mom's wishes. She still wished I was in the farm community raising animals, but I think she's pretty happy now.
So you're talking about how your mom wanted you to be in the farmer community and that kind of thing. So you were a 2001 state champion in sheep showing. So what came out of that then?
Definitely just a lot of hard work living on a farm and being raised on a farm. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it every day, and the work ethic that I've watched my mom grow up with, and it started with my grandparents. They had 10 kids and they raised them on a farm, and just seeing the work ethic that came out of my aunts, uncles, and my mom is amazing, and it's definitely helped me a lot in my athletic career.
How do they judge sheep?
Different, just body, it's almost like a bodybuilding contest for animals. And then the showmanship one is judging the person on how well you can show the lamb.
So you won a prize coming out of that, and what did you do with the prize?
I won a tack box, and I set a tire up on it in the backyard so I could use it as a strike zone.
That's a great way to tie in the past to the present. So how did you get involved with Clackamas baseball and Coach Arnson?
When we moved to Clackamas, my mom took the ag teaching job for the North Clackamas School District, which has Putnam, Milwaukie, and Clackamas kids that all get bussed out there, and they learn about farming and just at the agriculture community. And when I was in 8th grade playing baseball, I worked with the pitching coach, Tom Bowman, and Coach Arnson was always there, and they'd talk to me a little bit here and there. And then that summer, every summer I'd go to the camps and get to know the high school guys, and just as soon as I was in high school, I felt like it was already a family.
So you actually won, it was a throwing contest then? What was that then?
The last day of the camp, there's a skills competition. There's the longest throw, the longest hit, and who can run around the bases the fastest. And I had a pretty good arm back then, and I think I won by a considerable margin.
Was it like 20? It was like 25 yards?
Yeah, something like that.
And you were in 8th grade?
Yep.
So with them, you ended up going on to play in high school then, and you guys won 2 state championships. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Yeah. My sophomore year, I was kind of the baby of the group. We had a lot of juniors and seniors that went through the program and were brought up through with Coach Arnson and Bowman, and the work ethic that those guys instilled in every player that has gone through that program is incredible, and those seniors rubbed it off on me. I know we had a senior captain, Corey Davis, who went to Wright State University to catch. The first time he told me to get the bucket, I told him no way. And of course, I was one of the only sophomores on the team, and he goes, "No, you're getting the bucket." And I said, "No." And we got in an argument, and I was kind of put in my place for the first time, and I think that really helped me growing up.
So when you talk about that humbleness, how does that affect, like the way that you are, like when you became a senior and stuff like that? How does that affect the way that you treat the other players or the lessons that you try to teach them?
The lesson for me as a senior, a lot of seniors try to go pick on the younger guys and make them do all the dirty work, I guess. And as a senior, the seniors above me never made us do that. We all worked together and all had jobs and took care of stuff together. And that's kind of what I've learned. There's no seniority or whatever. We kind of tried to eliminate that and just all be one unit. And you tend to have more success if you're just one team.
So throughout just your baseball career, ever since you were a little kid up until throughout your high school, people always talked about you having an it factor. So when people say that to you, what do you think the it factor is, and how did you define your it factor?
I think it's just a desire not to lose, and you will fight teeth and nail to try to win a game. And no matter what happens within that game, you can't control some things, giving up base hits, runners, and you just have to fight through it. And that's kind of the way I was raised. Just growing up on a farm, you have to fight through tough things, animals dying, different things, and it just kind of builds you into who you are. And it's kind of built so deep into me that I tend to get myself into some interesting situations and find a way out.
So you're talking about your reputation that you kind of transferred on. Mm-hmm. What does that reputation, what is that?
I tend to help the coaches grow a few more gray hairs. Tend to walk a few guys, get into bases loaded jams with no outs and try to find a way out of it. And I don't know how I've been able to do it for so long, but I've been able to get myself out of some sticky situations.
So one of those sticky situations was actually the Kansas State game,
mm-hmm.
right? And that was the one that was going to send you to Omaha. How'd you get yourself out of that one?
I had a lot of base runners on in that game, and our defense was outstanding. We turned some very good double plays, and we had a couple great catches in the outfield, and Michael Conforto, our All-American left fielder, threw somebody out. Jake Rodriguez threw a base runner out, and it was a total team effort. And then later in the game, I got knocked out a little bit.
So going back to high school, you were named the Gatorade Player of the Year. You were also selected to the Louisville Slugger Player of the Year, and you played in a lot of the All-Star games for Oregon. When did you kind of know that baseball could be a career path for you?
When I was 6 years old, I told my mom I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, but at that point it was just a dream. And then I think growing up, just the harder I worked at it and the more kind of adult figures that would talk to me about it. I think Bowman sat down with me and Arnston sat down with me quite a few times and told me that I could do it. And I actually worked out with a strength coach and conditioning coach all through 8th and 9th grade, and we had a group of athletes that were all around the same age, and our whole goal was to become Division I athletes. And I think 8 or 9 of us are playing, not Division I, but playing college athletics somewhere, football, basketball, and it's pretty special.
So is that do you get that drive, that competitiveness, playing with people who have that same kind of desire to be that special like you want to be?
Oh yeah, I think growing up, my group of tight-knit friends that we still talk every day, me and my 5 or 6 high school buddies talk every day, but we compete in everything. You come around the house and we're playing video games, we'll throw controllers at each other if we lose. It's never ending. Anything we do, we play beach volleyball, badminton, anything we do, we can't lose to each other.
So do you ever if you're playing a volleyball or something like that, do you ever just throw the ball at them and do you use your special skills to be able to take advantage?
One summer actually, I broke my ankle, so I had just gotten a pin taken out and I wasn't supposed to walk, but they needed one more to play 2-on-2 volleyball, and 2 of my best friends are playing against us and they're crushing us, and they're running their mouths a little bit, and as soon as the game was over, me and my other buddy are like, we're leaving. We left the campground and drove off, and then they had to call us and beg us to come back because they had no gas to get home. So it was definitely a fun story.
So you won a couple of state championships at Clackamas, and then you get drafted right out of high school. What was that choice like, deciding between going to OSU, which, you wanted to go to, and, getting paid to play baseball?
It wasn't a choice at all. I knew. You look at the percentages of high school kids that make it coming out, it's under 2%. And going to college, you get to grow up a little bit. In the coaches, it's more of another family. Once you get to the minor leagues, it's a job, and they have no problem cutting you anytime. And college coaches are different, and they want you to grow up and be a man. And the 3 years of college that I've spent there, I've definitely grown up a lot.
So let's look at your transition between high school and college. What was that transition like, coming from being, top of your game senior year of high school into your freshman year of college?
Shell shocking. I remember my first start went really well. It was down at Fresno State. We were playing Gonzaga in a tournament, and I threw 6 or 7 innings, didn't give up a run, and threw pretty well. But the second start, we're down in Texas Corpus Christi, and I remember giving up 8 or 9 runs in 2 or 3 innings. And I was like, this has never happened before. And it took me almost all year to get over that and remember that I belonged there and could pitch at that level.
Do you go back on, when you talk about having to take care of the bucket and kind of that humbling experience, do you draw upon those things from earlier in your life when you go through like a trial like that of making that transition?
And each time, that one was probably the biggest test and probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I draw on that experience a lot, and it's real humbling, and it'll bring you back down to earth when you feel too high, and then it just reminds you to keep working so that doesn't happen again.
So is that something that has motivated you? So what has motivated you this year? Is that something that you draw upon this last year?
What has motivated me this year was the feeling when we lost to LSU and watching them celebrate on their field in front of 10,000 people, and just us crying in the dugout. And that losses like that have motivated me. Vanderbilt my freshman year in the Super Regionals, so close, but just couldn't make it. And those kind of losses you stick in the back of your mind, and when you're getting under the bar in the weight room, you remember those and helps you push it back up.
So your goals this year coming into the season, you talked about the loss to LSU last year. You guys knew that you guys were going to be good. You guys had a lot of returners this year. What were your goals coming into the season?
Make it to Omaha and win a national title. We sat Case down before we all even left campus. It was finals week. It was 6 or 7 of us older guys and a couple of sophomores that were big pieces that sat him down, and he was talking about retiring a little bit, and we sat him down and said, we need you as our leader, and we're going to take you to Omaha. And that was, we'll do whatever it takes, but we need you as at the helm.
Yeah, so talking about the decision that, because there was some question on whether or not he was going to return. What was that like as a player? How did you take that? And, how did you guys convince him to come back?
We told him we needed him, and he's such a good guy and such a fatherly figure that he wasn't going to say no to us.
So you had a couple different goals going into this year. What was your biggest goal?
Dogpile in Omaha. Didn't happen, but we had one heck of a run at it.
And you said something else about you want to come out and be one of the best pitchers from Oregon. Do you think that's something that you've achieved this last year, or something
I still think I could have done better, but I think as a whole, yeah, I did all right.
So we talked a little bit about being drafted, and this year, kind of how it ended, and then looking on next year, you were drafted. You're only a junior, so you have the option of coming back to Oregon State again. One of your teammates chose to come back for his senior year, Ward, and so how does a decision like that weigh on you, knowing that someone else decided to come back for the good of the team, and kind of maybe forego some of his personal gain that he got paid and been a professional athlete? How does that weigh on your decision?
What he did doesn't really weigh on mine, but I've lived with the kid for 3 years, so we're really good friends, and it's something that I have to sit down with and kind of figure out for myself. And right now, it's probably going to be the toughest decision I'll ever have to make, and it's win-win either way. But in some cases you're hurting some people, in some cases you're hurting some other people. But in the end of the day, I kind of have to do what's best for me.
So explain a little bit about what goes into the MLB draft, because it is a little bit confusing.
What do you want to know about it?
It's
so
like
confusing.
the process of it and what happens when you do get drafted.
Because you were drafted twice, so the team that drafted you, which was it Toronto that drafted you the first time? Cleveland drafted you the first time, so they don't have your rights anymore.
No,
now
it's just if you sign to a Division I school, you have to go for 3 years unless you're 21 before that a draft, and then you can be drafted again. And then as a junior, you can say no again and go in as a senior, and you can keep saying no each year if you want to. And then they draft you, and then drafts kind of changed from when I was a senior. Now they have a certain amount of money they can spend in their top 10 picks, and if they go over that, they get taxed. And before that, they could spend as much money as they wanted on any pick. And so it's changed the dynamic a little bit of it, which has allowed some college kids to come back and not get hurt as much in the money scheme.
So have you talked to the Phillies about coming in?
No, I have not talked to them at all. I have till July 15th, and I'm probably going to take most of that time to try to figure out what I'm going to do.
So you haven't even talked to them about where they would place you or anything like that?
No.
Do you want to just kind of avoid that until you have to make the decision?
Yeah, right now I just have been trying to take time and hang out with family and friends and kind of figure out what I want to do first.
But I mean, what's it like? I mean, you talked about how you were 6 years old telling your mom that you want to be a professional baseball player, and now that dream is literally in your hands. What's that decision like for you?
It's tough because growing up and having another dream of winning a national title and seeing those Oregon State players win it and dreaming, hey, I want this to be me. And my best friend actually got to travel to Omaha with my family and make the drive out there. And we talked about it since we were in 5th, 6th grade. We want this to be us. And to be that close, it leaves a real bitter taste in your mouth.
And one of those supporters that you're talking about that came out to Omaha while you were there is actually your coach, your old high school coach. So he actually booked tickets before your guys' season even came for your Clackamas High School to come out. Was that an added pressure to even make it to Omaha?
It wasn't added pressure, but I knew it would have been a pretty fun year if we were able to do that. Before the year, they told us, hey, we're going to book these tickets. We better see you there. It wasn't pressure, but it was awesome when it was able to happen.
So it wasn't just coach. He brought the whole team, right?
Yeah, they played in a tournament out there, and then we were able to go watch my high school teammate in Des Moines pitch for the AAA Cubs affiliate.
Yeah, so that's got to be like a, kind of almost like a full circle. You come up through a program like that, and to have that kind of relationship with a coach and have him, say, I think he talked about it in an article in the Oregonian about how he's always wanted to be able to take a team from Clackamas and go to that, to give them that experience.
Yeah.
And to have it be when you are there, a pitcher who played at Clackamas and someone these kids are, have a relationship with. I mean, that's got to mean a lot to you to just kind of be like that older brother figure and kind of really special for you.
It was definitely really special. I mean, having 3 siblings growing up, I've always been the older brother and tried to take care of them. And I'd try to do the best I can at that with the Clackamas kids and always be there if they have questions for me. They all know my number, message me on Twitter, and I came up to a few of their playoff games and just wanted to support them. They had one heck of a ride at it this year too, making it to the state championship, and that was really special.
So you're talking about how you stay in contact with all these players. What words of advice do you have for them? I mean, for a kid that's trying to get, either on the varsity squad or to college or to the major leagues.
Keep working. It's a never-ending grind, and you have to enjoy the grind. You can't dread it every day, but you have to wake up every day ready to work.
Okay, we only got a couple minutes left here, so a couple of things I just wanted to go over with you. I read an article about when you guys were, I believe you guys lost the first game of the Super Regional, and you guys did a group text, which is, if you are a fan of SportsBeat, that's not the first time you've heard of group text. Talk to us about what that group text was.
Max Gordon, our center fielder, who is the most competitive human, he's 5'7", 165 pounds, and just kind of a dirt ball out there, and he'll do anything. You guys probably saw him on SportsCenter a few times on Top 10, and he sent out a text to us all saying, "We're not losing this game. they're going to have to rip the jersey off our back. And then Jake Rodriguez came out, and our catcher, saying that his father passed away the day we won and went to Omaha a year prior. And he sent out a group message saying, like, this is the day we were supposed to play. We were supposed to lose the first game so we could play today. And it was a pretty special thing.
So talk about that relationship that you have with these guys. I mean, I've played sports all my life, and there's you can tell when a team is really together and they really mean something to each other. Explain how this team may be different from other teams.
I mean, growing up, I feel like every team I've been on's had that feeling. My 2 high school teams that won it, it's definitely a family. Your brothers, you can bicker a little bit back and forth and argue, but at the end of the day, you have each other's back, and that was the same thing down at Oregon State every day. We loved going to work together. We loved going to the field together, and it was just a joy to play with them.
So you guys are down in Omaha. Talk about the game that Conforto, or the tournament that Conforto had. I mean, he was on fire down there. Talk about what as a pitcher, your best friend are the hitters. So talk about
fielders.
Yeah. So talk about what it means to have, and kind of what that feeling was. Whenever he went up to plate, everyone just had that feeling that something was going to happen.
Mike is an incredible baseball player. He makes incredible plays in left field. He has a cannon, and then every time he's up to the plate, something special could happen. And if they would have moved the fences in 10 feet, we might have been able to be there that first game. That ball was about 3 feet from getting out, but Mike probably would have hit a couple too.
All right, so any last words? We're going to wrap it up here. And any last words for any of your Oregon State brothers or any Clackamas guys that you want to say thanks to?
I just love you guys and proud of what everybody's been able to do.
All right, well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming on, Ben.
Thank you very much.
All right, and we are going to throw it back to Brad and Michelle. Thanks.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. You're facing Wetzler, okay? Mm-hmm. He throws you a curveball, and it hits you. What do? Do you charge the mound?
Yes.
Ooh, you charge the mound.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do.
Unwritten rules of baseball, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you make it like a fake charge where you really want to go after him, or you want the catcher to hold you back?
I think it's going to be a faux charge.
Oh, it's a full charge.
No, faux.
A faux. So it's a fake. So you just want the catcher to grab you and pull you back.
Right.
You just want to teach him that he can't throw at you.
Absolutely.
Because you're Michelle Cruz.
Yeah, it's rude.
That's right, especially on Portland SportsBeat. That was an awesome interview.
That was a great interview. You know what it reminds me of? I was listening to the whole story, and it just reminds me of a movie. That is a movie in the making. Have we not seen different versions of this movie?
Actually, a baseball movie. I was thinking the same thing. Bull Durham, 1988. Just like Bull Durham. He was like Eddie Calvin-LaLouche. He's the pitcher, but he went straight to the minors.
What year was that again?
88.
Okay, so I was I was -2 or something.
You weren't born?
Yeah.
Oh, so now you're telling me not only do you need a booster chair to rise above, but you have never seen Bull Durham and you weren't born then.
Or I'm calling you
18 years old now?
What are you, old? Ooh, doesn't have any words for that one.
That was really that is really hurtful. After all the apologies I've given to you. Oh my God, amazing. That Wetzler, he is some pitcher. He had a .32 ERA his senior year in high school. Can you imagine? That's unhittable.
That's crazy. We should have him autograph something for us. Seriously.
We should. Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
I bet you I think I can get a hit off of him, like a base hit. Not a home run. I'm not going crazy. I'm not even saying extra base hits. But a single, I could do that.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, not his regular 92-mile-per-hour fastball. I'm talking a curve. He throws a curve. It's over the plate.
Yeah.
I'll be able to crack it.
I love how much heart he has for the game, for sure.
Yeah, he is. He's a farm boy.
Yeah.
6 years old. He told his mom, he said, I want to be a baseball player. And she's like, well, there's a lot of sheep and cow that we got to tend to right here. He said he didn't care. That's passion for the game. I like it. And it's sort of at a young age.
And he acts as a mentor to everyone, younger than him that want to be in his place, which is great. I think it's awesome when alumni go back to their schools and help out and share their knowledge. So.
And he also made the right decision. When he got drafted from Cleveland, he could have went right to the minors, but he wanted a college degree because he knew he had something to fall back on.
Absolutely.
That was the smartest move because now, instead of being drafted in the 15th round, now it's the 5th round. Now he's got 4 years or 3 years of college underneath his belt.
Absolutely.
Went to the College World Series, had a chance at a national championship. Makes all the difference in the world. Now he can worry about his baseball career.
It really
Get
does.
your degree. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you contact us? If someone contacts the show, they want to know more about the show, how do they contact us?
Well, there's various ways to contact us.
Give me a phone number. What do I do? I have my cell phone.
Okay, phone number. This isn't mine, okay? This isn't my number, but this is SportsBeat's number, and it's 503-288-448.
That's right. Or on Twitter at PDX SportsBeat.
Which we already know I have no idea how to use.
You don't know Twitter.
No.
You're not a tweet girl.
No, I'm not. I don't.
No.
Is it tweet?
Tweet.
Tweeting?
You tweet, or
Okay.
I am tweeting. Sure.
That's just
Or I
weird. I don't-
tweeted, past tense.
I have a
Depends.
Facebook, and so does Portland SportsBeat. So like
what's
the
that?
page. Just Google
like the
it. Just like the page.
It's like the page. Go to PortlandSportsBeat.com. We're going to send it back over to PJ. But do you want to tell us about these wonderful guests?
Yes.
They were participants in the Les Schwab Bowl. These are some talented high school football players, seniors, and we're going to find out where they're going to go. What's next for them?
I know, this is pretty
Who do we
exciting.
have?
So we have Devaunte Hoffman from Gresham, Zach Floyd from Tigard, and Kendrick Bourne from Milwaukie. So let's pass it over.
Okay, we'll throw it over. We just have 2 out of the 3, though. That was a late scratch. So
Yeah.
we're going to throw it over. I don't have a football. Do you have a pigskin?
No.
Is that pigskin?
No, we
Okay.
already threw it over.
Throw it over.
All right. Thank you, guys. Zach was not able to make it, so Zach is not here. But we do have Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver, Milwaukie High School, and Devaunte Hoffman, running back from Gresham High School. Kendrick, why don't you go ahead and start by introducing yourself, kind of letting everybody know a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Kendrick Bourne. I graduated from Milwaukie High School, class of 13, of course. And I play receiver, and I'm going to Eastern Washington on a full-ride scholarship for receiver. And, yeah, that's what I'll be doing next year.
All right, and Devaunte, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Devaunte Hoffman. I went to Gresham High School. I've been playing football since 6th grade, and my dreams finally come true to play college ball. Next year I'll be going to Western Oregon on a partial scholarship, and I'm going to be studying business.
So you went to Gresham High School out in the Mount Hood Conference. When you talk about football out in that conference, you know, a lot of people talk about Central Catholic. Kind of talk about the playing against a team that, you know, a lot of people kind of look at as one of the better teams in the state. Talk about playing against a team like that.
The hardest thing about playing a team like that is you got to come in mentally prepared. I mean, they're dominant. They have dominant players on on the defense and offensive side of the ball. So when you come in, you got to be prepared. You have to be mentally prepared, physically prepared. You can't just go in thinking you're going to win like you do most games.
So you played 3 years of varsity?
Correct.
3 years of varsity. And you have some pretty impressive totals. I'm going to read these off. You sent these over to me. You had 3,875 rushing yards, 5,112 all-purpose yards, 47 touchdowns in your 3 years on varsity, correct?
Correct.
That is a very, very impressive stat line for someone to have as a high school career. First of all, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You know, when you're a player like that and you have a high profile, coaches are going to go in and they're going to scheme against you. You know, they're going to say, this is the guy we want to shut down. How do you as a player take that as a challenge?
Well, that's when the off season comes in. I mean, you have to always find ways, change your game, prepare yourself for the next season, the next move. I mean, you can't come in as the same player that you were yesterday, or else your game will be shut down.
As a running back, it's a couple of more things that you sent over to me. You bench 330, you power clean 300, and you squat 540. Those numbers may not mean a lot to people at home just because they don't have a reference, but I will tell you that is very, very good. I mean, do you do any powerlifting for anything else besides just the making yourself better at sports? Do you do any tournaments or any kind of competitions for lifting? Because those are pretty close to being in the state, high school level. Those are pretty close to being up there in contention for those.
No, most of my lifting's for my own body, how I want to be, the athletics that I'm doing. And I just want to be at a high level so I compete with the best.
Awesome. All right, and Kendrick, you were in the what's the name of the conference again?
N-Walk.
N-Walk.
Yeah.
I went to Putnam, so
Okay,
you were like kind of our rivals.
Rival,
yeah. So and then it used to be the Three Rivers League, so I always get confused of what they call it now. But Milwaukie High School is one of those schools that you're in with Clackamas Putnam, and it's Milwaukie, and Clackamas. We just had Ben on. He's from Clackamas, and there's a lot. That's a bigger school. They get usually they have a little bit more. They're a little bit more affluent. They have a little bit more money. When you're at a school like Milwaukie, where there's not a lot of like press or a lot of people talking about it, how does it feel to be one of those players that kind of stands out in that kind of atmosphere?
I think it kind of helps me. It kind of pushes me more to like not show out on the field, but make plays so people can know that I'm trying to bring some pub to Milwaukie and help them out. So that's something that helped me out, and I did that on the field actually. So I kind of helped them out.
So what were some of your goals coming into the season for the team?
Some of my goals was to help Milwaukie change that record, because they've been having a losing record from past years, and I came in as a senior. I transferred from Benson, and I tried to just help the team win, and we had a winning record this season, and it went pretty good. And I finished the season off with some good yards, good catches, good touchdowns, and I earned a scholarship. So I think that really put Milwaukie on the map for other kids to come and see what Milwaukie has to offer.
So talking about your stats, you had 1,300 yards receiving, and you had 20 touchdowns. That's 20 touchdowns as a receiver. If you're not playing in a high-powered offense, 20 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. You had a majority of your team's scores this year. I kind of talked about it with Devaunte about teams are going to in that conference, they're going to target you as one of the players that they need to shut down. You're going to get their best corner on every play. How do you kind of deal with that pressure of people, the big target on your back?
My coach used to tell me, like, if he can guard you right here playing high school football, he said, how are you going to get past anybody in college? And that's every game. That's what really pushed me. And that's why I liked having a target on my back, because it pushed me to really get past the person in front of me. And that's why I think I achieved my goals in high school and getting the yards and the touchdowns that I got because my coach, too, to be honest. But that's what's really pushed me.
Okay, so you talked about your scholarship for Eastern Washington. Talk a little bit about the recruiting process for you. How did you get involved with Eastern? How did they contact you, and how did you ultimately make your decision to go there?
First, recruiting process, man, it's kind of a jungle, man. It's good at first when you first get in it because it's all exciting, but then when a lot of school, I had a lot of big sky schools on me, so it was kind of just a jungle. My parents, they're waiting for me to pick where I'm going and what I need to do, and it was just picking Eastern is because I feel like they throw the ball and they put in the red turf it's just great, and the recruiting, yeah, it's a big jungle, man. And if you're in a recruiting process, please just try to focus on one school and not really get into all schools and saying you're gonna go here and go there. Just choose your school and be committed to where you're gonna go.
So did you go out on a recruiting visit out there?
Yes, I did, and I actually liked it a lot. Out of all the schools I went to, it was pretty relaxing. I feel like the players were really enjoying their life at this college, and I feel like I could feel the vibe of me being there and getting to know the guys more.
Some pretty nice ladies out there.
Oh yeah, pretty
cool. That's a pretty cold place, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cold. It gets hot. It's hot in the summer. It's real hot, but in the winter it snows, and the snows get hot. I went out there actually in the winter, and it was a lot of white out there, a lot of white snow. It was nice though. The field's real nice in the snow. The red it goes.
Yeah, so you play on that red turf. That's do they have red jerseys too?
Yeah, they have all red jerseys.
So they do the boys' skate.
Yes, yeah, they just
so
that's
you
where
get
they got
lost in the turf.
Yeah, and when you watch it on TV, you can't really see nobody, but I think that's cool. That's the cool thing about it.
So what are your goals for next year?
I want to play true. That's my goal, is to play true, because I'm gonna go up early and see what I can do and work out. But I think being the way I play and knowing that what I can do, I've been playing football since I was young, so just going out there and doing what I've been doing my whole life. So I think I could play true. We got OSU first game, so that's big. And that one dude was just here from OSU, and I was gonna tell him, but yeah, that's what I'm just trying to play true. That's my first big goal, and make a good first impression when I get there.
All right. So you're going to be going out. You talked a little bit about you're going to be going down to Western Oregon.
Correct.
Talk about the recruiting process for you and kind of how that went.
I had a lot of big skies too to begin with, but the later it got, like you said, it's a jungle. So people fall off, people jump on. It's like a train. It's like somebody wants to be with you, the next minute they don't. So you just kind of got to be patient. You got to absorb all the fun, shake the bad, and it's a slow process, but it's all worth it in the end when you feel like your goals are achieved, like all your hard work is paid off.
So what other schools did you visit besides Western?
I visited PSU, and I went down to Linfield, but I was very close to getting an offer from PSU. It was really close, but they had another guy commit there, so they pulled back. But, I mean, anywhere you go, as long as you have heart, I mean, as long as you want to play and you have that drive and you just want to grind and just grind it out, then you'll be fine wherever you go.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Kevin Boss. I mean, he went to Western and he got drafted into the NFL. So, I mean, as long as you go out and you play your game, you know, people will come watch you wherever you're at.
Exactly.
Talk a bit about your like goals for this season coming into the year.
Just like him, I kind of want to be a true, just go in and dominate, show what I can do, prove that I'm a good pick for them, that they gave me a scholarship for a reason, and let everybody know that I'm here and I'm serious and I want to play and I want to win, and let my teammates know that down the road, the older I get, I will be a leader and that we're here to win and we're going to dominate.
Are you going down early at all?
I go down August 13th.
August 13th. Is that when practices double start?
Exactly.
So you talked to Coach Arnston. What's his name? The head coach for Western?
Oh, yeah, Coach Arnston.
Arnston, yeah. I actually, when I played football, I had done some recruiting visits to Western too, and he was the coach that I talked with. But and he's a really good coach. What are their expectations of you coming in? Are they expecting you to be dressing and playing your freshman year, or did they kind of have a wait and see attitude?
When I went down for my recruiting trip, they said that they think I can play when I go down the first year. So it's kind of up to me. Depends on how I feel with school, because it's going to be a lot more pressure. It's like jumping from, like when I jump from freshman ball to varsity, it's that big step. So it's kind of how I want to take it.
Yeah, they always when I played, and you know, I coached like little guys football, and all my coaches always said college is like the hardest hit you ever had in high school is every hit in college, and same thing when you go to the NFL. The hardest hit you ever had in college is every hit in the NFL. So there's like it is like a huge jump. Players, the fastest players you play in high school are the everyday players in college. So there is like that huge jump. How do you think you're going to adjust to that?
I think I would adjust just like I would jumping into freshman to varsity. I think that's how I would, and I'm kind of scared to take the first hit, but I know once it happens, then it's over, and I think I'm gonna be straight after that.
So you're going across the middle. Mm-hmm. Quarterback puts the ball about 2 feet above your head. Are you laying out for it?
I don't think I'm gonna lay out, but I'll try to tuck it in my body. Then to grab it like this, I'll grab it like this so I can take the impact. But I think that's the way I would take it.
What about you? You got to dive up the middle. You're running the lead, or they run the spread out there. You get a something up the middle. Are you taking a shoulder? Are you running out of bounds, or are you putting your shoulders down?
I gotta go with the shoulder down. I gotta go with the stiff arm or put the shoulder down. I can't go out of bounds, especially on the first day down there. It can't look bad. I gotta make a play.
I remember when I was in school, there was a lot of like Samoan guys there, and they were just huge and they were fast, and you know, they could definitely play down there. So
I'm actually Samoan and black.
Oh, there you go.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. It's a crazy thing to have some of those guys down there. I was really surprised just by the quality of play, because you know it's not a Division I school like you know like the other schools, but they're still really good down there.
Mm-hmm. For real.
Yeah. So
they don't get picked for no reason.
Yeah.
We had one of the top D2 recruiting classes in the nation, so we have a lot of kids from Oregon going down there. We're going to be pretty dominant, I think, in years to come.
So what's your outlook on the team down at Western for the next couple of years?
Progress. We're taking big jumps and just want to win. I mean, a lot of kids that are going down there played with us on the Les Schwab game, and a lot of them are on the opposing team, and they were all competitive. Everyone wanted to win, even though it was just an all-star game, but everybody wanted to win. It's football. When you play, you just want to win. It's just how it is. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the Les Schwab Bowl. We have some highlights from that, which we're gonna show here in a couple minutes. But talk about the. We'll start with you, Kendrick. Talk about the honor of being selected to play on the Les Schwab Bowl.
I think it's a big honor. I think every high school football player should want to try to be selected in it, because the whole week was just great. Being around all the guys, everybody's good, so it kind of taught you how to be going to college. We stayed in the dorms and waking up like in the morning and then going to practice in the afternoon, because it was sort of like teaching us when we're going to go to college and practicing, because everybody's good, so you got to show how you separate from everybody else, and that's what it kind of taught you. So that's why it was an honor to really play in it, and I did pretty good, so I feel like I put a name out there for myself.
Yeah, you led the North in catches. 88 yards?
Yeah,
88 yards receiving. So you did a great job. I think you had one touchdown reception while you were there. What is it like, when you get to play with these quarterbacks who, are the top ones in the state? There's a different dynamic. You haven't worked with them as much, but their skill level is going to be a little bit better than what it is maybe with your high school team. What is that like, being able to play with someone like that?
I think it felt real good, because I had a quarterback on my team. We switched our running back to quarterback because our quarterback he was out of it, and so we wasn't really passing the ball like that. I still ate, but playing with a guy that really throws, it felt like, oh my gosh, like it made me get excited to go to college, because I know they're gonna throw the ball. So it kind of put me in, like, opened my eyes, like, oh, this is how it's gonna be. So it was pretty exciting. It felt really good, actually. I ain't gonna lie.
You out there, we had some pretty good highlights of you running. I think you had one run that was about an 18-yard where you hit the outside, and you had a great run out there, and you had some really good inside runs as well. When you're playing guys like from the South, who are the top guys in the state, how does that make you feel different as a running back when you know that you have a good game like that?
When you have a dominant game against other dominant players, it kind of boosts your ego. To be honest, kind of boosts your ego. It makes you feel good about yourself, and it humbles you a little bit also. I mean, it makes you respect the opposing players. It makes you respect how dominant they are, but it also makes you want to strive to be better than they are. I mean, I didn't win every play that I went against them, so my goals could be to win every play. And so I just want to be dominant. That's all I can say.
All right. So now that we've talked about it, let's go ahead and we're going to play that highlight from the Les Schwab Bowl. All right. There was a lot of great plays. A couple of plays I wanted to point out there. First of all, we tried to get him on Tanner. He was headed down to Boise. Yeah, he was headed over to Boise. We were trying to get him on just so I could call him out for that play where he got tracked down at the end. That wouldn't happen to you, would it?
I don't think so. My adrenaline was rushing too much for that to happen to me. If I'm seeing the end zone, I'm going. That's what I think.
You guys end up scoring, so it doesn't hurt you. So,
Yeah, exactly.
So Tanner, way to dodge it. And you had that play where you tried to jump over the guy, and he kind of undercut you, and you flipped over. That was a pretty hard hit. You took a pretty nasty fall there, but you came back in after that play. So
I saw the end zone and I was smelling it. So I was just trying to get over him and get one more step on that nice grass and take another leap, try to get in. But he clipped my heels, and that's the second time that's happened to me in my career, and both times I've gotten hurt. So I think I'm done jumping.
probably what the coaches would say too. And then one last play. It was that last play we showed it the second time in slow motion. And I don't remember his name. I think you said he was from West Lynn. Mm-hmm. And he hit that guy so hard, you could hear the whole crowd go, "Oh!"
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that was quite the hit. That was probably the highlight hit of the.
He was on the ground for a minute.
He was.
Yeah,
he
he was.
He didn't get up.
Yeah, and it was a clean hit.
Yeah,
You
it was.
clearly see he had his helmet in front.
Every
You just
shit.
ear-holed him though. So I just want to say thanks. You guys, real quick. Do you got any shout-outs for any teammates or got something for your new teammates?
You can follow me on Instagram, HoffmanRB21.
Follow me on Instagram too, Bourne Poly 4. But Eastern, I'm coming. Be ready.
Oregon State, be ready. That's what needs to be ready.
You're
right?
You're right.
So, Oregon State, you guys beating them? Call it right now.
I ain't gonna say that, but it's gonna be a good game.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Where's that game at? Is that Oregon
At
State?
OSU, yeah.
Okay. We'll be watching.
August 31st.
All right. We need a shout-out. We need like a SportsBeat shout-out, okay?
All right, got you.
All right. Devaunte, Hoffman, Kendrick, Bourne, thank you guys very much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
having me.
All right, Brad, Michelle, back to you guys.
Thank you, Pajamas Miller. That was wonderful.
Pajamas Miller?
PJ, that's what they call him.
You always
Pajamas
do
Miller,
this.
PJ.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
she doesn't pick up on all the sarcasm and the little.
I don't
You got to pick up on all those little nuggets.
I don't pick up on shenanigans.
Now, don't look back at the boys. Don't look back at Devaunte
Okay.
and Kendrick. Who would win in a race? Seriously. 40-yard dash, who'd win?
Oh, that's tough.
That's tough. They're already gone, so it doesn't matter how you answer. They already snuck out.
No, I'm going to see them later, so.
Okay.
I would have to say, can I say PJ? Is that fair?
Yeah, go ahead. Say
I just
PJ.
did. I just did.
So you just lied on camera. You lied right here. Portland
didn't lie.
SportsBeat, PortlandSportsBeat.com, at PDX SportsBeat. No, Twitter?
you just threw all those things
I threw
together.
all that information. That's how.
Check out the
and that number,
website.
I don't remember our phone number, but you got to call that in. That was a bunch of hogwash right there. Do you want to preview what we have coming up for next episode in a couple
Yes,
weeks?
so our next episode is when? July 10th, after the holidays, so be
right.
safe, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we have the #1 ranked golfer at Washington State, and he's going to be here. Name is Brian Humphrey.
Oh, excellent.
And when's the last time someone was #1?
That was Mr. Fred Couples you're talking about. Fred Couples had a record.
I think it was
yeah.
over 20 years ago, yeah?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Mr.
Okay.
Fred Couples, for those
Yes.
big golf fans, golf enthusiasts. So anyways, remember, have a wonderful, safe, happy 4th of July. I'm going to be in Canada. Got a wedding, Toronto Blue Jay game, little swing of the bat. That's right.
Exciting.
That's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
So thank you to all our guests. Of course, Devaunte,
Thank you.
Kendrick, and Mr. Wetzler. It was wonderful. Pajamas Miller did a good job. Taylor, Michelle Cruz, I'm Brad Stein. Don't forget Ryan Johnson. That's
Don't
the man.
forget anybody.
He's the man who
Thank
put us
you,
all here. And of
everyone,
course, the
for
whole
being
camera
here.
crew, everyone who did the teleprompter, all the guests
Everyone
and their
that
parents.
came to practices.
That's cool. Look, there it is. My favorite part of the show. The credits
over
is on
here.
Brad's face. But I can always go like
No, I
this and we can
can't.
come together.
No, I don't. No,
I
I'm good.
miss being with you. Do you know how hard it is? When I'm not with you, my life is not complete.
Well,
It
a
is
lot of
complete
people say
today.
that.
I'm going to go home. A lot of people say that, huh? She's cocky. Arrogant, cocky. This is what I have to work with. This is what I have to deal with. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.